Venezuelans fear for their future after unpopular vote. As the unpopular vote for a new constituent assembly went ahead on Sunday, the state of urgency in Venezuela was undeniable. Months of violence have led up to this election, but the aftermath could be even worse, leaving young Venezuelans, especially those in the capital, Caracas, despairing and scrambling to make plans to leave the country. The Constituent Assembly would usurp the powers of the top legislative body, the National Assembly, and gain virtually full control over the country, with the power to both rewrite the constitution and dissolve state institutions. After the weekend's carnage and 25 people killed in the past 4 days, this week marks the bloodiest period since protests against the government began in April. Countrywide, the violence has now left more than 100 dead and thousands more injured or imprisoned. President Nicolas Maduro has hinted at a crackdown on opponents after the controversial vote. 7 dead in clashes over Venezuela's unpopular vote for new assembly. Opponents trying to stop Venezuelan president from rewriting constitution. Venezuelan opposition congressman and oncologist Dr. José Manuel Olivares told CBC News he fears government reprisals against opposition politicians like himself. 12 of my colleagues have already had their passports stripped, he said, and we don't know if they will just start arresting us after Sunday. Emergency plans. 2 Venezuelans in their 20s, both of whom asked not to be identified, told CBC News their country has fallen so far, they barely recognize it. Never mind 5 years ago or even 2 years ago, even in December I couldn't imagine we would be at this point, said the young woman, 27. Cheers to Sunday, the end of our damn country, she said. The two say that out of a group of 12 friends in high school, only 4 remain in Caracas. The rest have already left the country, and the young man says he's working on the paperwork to emigrate to Argentina. Their experience is not unique. Medical student and member of a group of volunteer paramedics, Carlos Zambrano told CBC News that half of his fellow students have left. Many here say that those with the means have already gotten out or now have emergency plans to get out. The ongoing violence is set against the backdrop of a rapidly deteriorating economic situation, including a period of hyperinflation that has wreaked havoc on the country's currency, bringing real wages crashing down. The average Venezuelan is now just earning around $15 US per month. The website Venezuela, which tracks the black market rate of the bolivar, showed that the currency hit a new benchmark, 10,000 to $1 US, a 99.8% drop since Maduro came to power in April 2013, when it was 24 bolivars to $1 US. Reports of threats, intimidation. Sunday's election asked Venezuelans to choose 545 representatives from a list of over 6,000 candidates handpicked by Maduro. Critics say the vote is a power grab by the president, whose approval rating hovers around 20%. Latin American leaders issued statements saying they would not recognize the vote, and the U.S. warned it would take action against Maduro's government.
They have good reason to doubt the legitimacy of the election. Earlier in the week, Maduro urged government workers and employees at state-run companies to vote. In a televised address on Saturday, the president said the government would be cross-checking lists of voters with lists of government employees. He said whoever didn't vote would be fired.
Some employees at state-run companies anonymously reported to media outlets that their superiors were intimidating them into voting. Susana Raffaelli, a Venezuelan native and head of the Catholic charity Caritas, tweeted a picture of a sign in Caracas that urged people to vote in Sunday's election to get their food ration cards activated.
Raffaelli told CBC News the government limiting access to the UN-sponsored Carnet de la Patria social program is a violation of the state's obligation to the right of food without discrimination, and a fraud in regards to the original purpose of the program, said Raffaelli. Raffaelli told CBC News the government limiting access to the UN-sponsored Carnet de la Patria social program is a violation of the state's obligation to the right of food without discrimination, and a fraud in regards to the original purpose of the program, said Raffaelli.